Recording.
Hello, my name is Tyler Grace, and this is my presentation on the differences between working in the public and private sector. I just want to go through a few basic examples. When you're working in the public sector, there are many things you're guaranteed. One of the things you're guaranteed are set benefits for when, you get sick pay, if you're out, and you're guaranteed, maternity leave and everything, you have a child. You get a pension, a fixed pension, in the public sector. And also, you're all, when you work in the public sector, you're protected, and you have more rights, But if you work with a private company, everything is completely dependent on the contract you sign. You're not guaranteed a pension, you're not guaranteed any sort of anything at all, really. It just depends on what you sign. Of course, though, even though you're still protected in the public sector, you're still protected. You still have trade unions that'll make sure that your rights are upheld. The biggest one is ICTU, which the ICTU represents the collective trade unions in Ireland. Now, one of the factors, though, when working for any job, is that some employers will demand that you be with a trade union, or else they can't take you on, especially in the private sector. Because they can hire you or not, depends on what. But again, the thing with the trade unions, though, is that while a public sector employer is obligated to recognise them, a private sector employer isn't. They can dismiss your case. They don't have to talk with any union rep or anything if they don't want to. And although an employer doesn't need to recognise the union, they still need to follow certain laws within. There are certain laws that protect employees, such as the Unfair Dismissals Act, which protects the employee for being fired, for no reason. An employer must have a reason to fire an employee, and it's his responsibility to give that reason. An employer can't fire an employee just because he wants it or because he can't. They can make an employee redundant if they need to let people go, which means they'll pay off employees to leave their jobs, but they can't just fire someone. There's also the Equality Act of 2004, which means an employer can't discriminate when hiring. They can't discriminate anyone based on race, gender, orientation, religion, politics. And then there's the National Minimum Wage Act of 2000, which any employer must uphold. Even in the private sector, they must pay an employee the bare minimum wage or one example of a public sector business would be RTE. If you work at RTE, you'd be guaranteed many benefits, and you get a fixed pension once you retire. An example of a private company would be TV3. And again, whatever you do in TV3, it's totally dependent on the contract. Another similarity between the private and public sector is insurance. employers, both private and public, are required by law to cover their employees. They are required to have employers' indemnity, which covers themselves and the employees. And if you work in the private sector, it's up to the employer to get the public liability insurance. If you work with RTE, they are already covered. And last thing is health and safety. Under Section 8 of the Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act 2010, it is the employer's job to provide a safe workplace and to prevent inappropriate conduct that could be harmful to employees. So if you work in a private company and you can't tell an employee to move anything or pick up anything if they can't. They have to get someone else to do the job. So if you're working in a private company and if you're not able to do the job, they will replace you with someone who can. That's my presentation.